Hello, my name is Don. I'd like to share with you a little bit of card magic and a story by Robert Service called The Shooting of Dan McGrew. It takes place in the late 1890s during the Yukon Gold Rush. We're in Dawson City. It's the end of a long, hard day of prospecting in the icy creeks and streams of the Klondike. The saloons are filling with miners, and it's in one of these saloons that our story takes place. A bunch of the boys were whooping it up at the Malamute Saloon. The kid that handles the music box was hitting a jag time tune. Back of the bar in a solo game sat dangerous Dan McGrew, and watching his luck was his light of love, the lady that's known as Lou. On out of the night, which was 50 below, and into the din and the glare, there stumbled a miner fresh from the creeks, dogged, dirty, and loaded for bear. He looked like a man with a foot in the grave, and scarcely the strength of a louse, but he tilted a poke of dust on the bar, and he called for drinks for the house. There was none could place the stranger's face, though we searched ourselves for a clue, but we drank his health, and the last to drink was dangerous Dan McGrew. Now there's men that somehow just grip your eyes and hold them hard like a spell. Well, such was he, and he seemed to me like a man who had lived in hell. With a face most hair and the dreary stare of a dog whose day is done, as he watered the green stuff in his glass, and the drops fell one by one. And I got to figuring who he was, and wondering what he'd do, and I turned my head, and there watching him was the lady that's known as Lou. Now his eyes went rubbering round the room, and he seemed in a kind of daze, till at last that old piano fell in the way of his wandering gaze. The ragtime kid was having a drink. There was no one left at the stool, so the stranger, he stumbled across the floor and flopped down there like a fool. In a buckskin shirt that was glazed with dirt, he sat and I saw him sway. Then he clutched the keys with them talon hands. My God, but that man could play. Have you ever been out in the great alone when the moon was awful clear, and the icy mountains hemmed you in with a silence you most could hear? With only the howl of a timber wolf, you camped out in the cold, a half-dead thing in a stark white world, clean mad for the muck called gold, while high overhead, green, yellow, and red, the north lights swept in bars. Then you've a hunch what that music meant. Hunger, night, and the stars, and hunger not of the belly kind that's banished with bacon and beans, but the gnawing hunger of lonely men for a home and all that it means. And on he played, yet the music changed, so soft you scarce could hear, and you felt that your life had been looted clean of all that it once held dear, that someone had stolen the woman you loved, that her love was the devil's lie, and your guts were gone, and the best for you was to crawl away and die. And the music almost died away, then it burst like a pent-up flood, and it seemed to say, repay, repay, and my eyes were blind with blood. The thought came back of an ancient wrong, and it stung like a frozen lash, and the lust awoke to kill, and the music stopped with a crash. And the stranger turned, and his eyes they burned in a most peculiar way. In a buckskin shirt that was glazed with dirt, he sat, and I saw him sway. And his lips went in a kind of grin, and he spoke, and his voice was calm. And boy, says he, you don't know me, and none of you cares a damn, but I want to state my words are straight, and I'll bet my poke they're true. One of you is a hound of hell, and that one is Dan McGrew. Well, he ducked his head, and the lights went out, and two guns blazed in the dark. A woman screamed, and the lights came up. Two men lay stiff and stark, pitched on his head, and pumped full of lead, and now bloody red lay dangerous Dan McGrew, while the man from the creek, turning cold and pale, lay clutched to the breast of the lady that's known as Lou. These are the simple facts of the case, and I guess I ought to know. They say the stranger was crazed with hooch, and I ain't denying it, so. And I ain't so smart as them lawyer guys, but strictly between us two, the woman that kissed him, then stole the gold, an evil, black-hearted, two-faced woman, was the lady that's known as Lou. Thank you very much.